Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your Evelyn Shorty, and today we are not going to be doing a proper review of something. It's almost certainly going to run for longer than 5 minutes, because I'm going to be talking about the Absolute Batman Annual. And there's a few reasons why I want to be talking about this one. Number one, I'm a big fan of Daniel Warren Johnson, and I think him taking on this kind of topic is fantastic, and it gets it in people's faces, and also it looks brilliant. He's clearly still in his pro wrestling era of dramatic fight scenes, and he does such a good job of it that I just feel like even if you're going to ignore everything else going on in this comic book, you could just enjoy it for what it is. He does it brilliantly. He has huge splash pages, intense visuals, and dynamic art like you're never going to see anywhere else in comic books. But that's mostly just for people who are already going to like what's going on in it. I think the big reason why people have been talking about it is nothing to do with that. They've been talking about it because of Batman beating the ever-loving snot out of some cops. And I've seen an awful lot of people trying to kind of find ways to justify why that would not be true. And I feel like this is just going to be a little bit of me doing the whole media literacy needs to up its game kind of thing. And also, as a slight tangent to it, I feel like there's people out there who are more charismatic than me, who talk slower than me, who can probably do a really good job of convincing fascists to not be fascist. I think it's possible. In fact, I know it is, because you see people like ContraPoints, whose videos I watch a lot because I think she's very, very funny and very intelligent, does a really good job at what she sets out to do. And she has managed to bring people in from the right. There's also literally people of colour who've got Klansmen to hang up the White Hood. I don't think I'm that kind of guy, because whenever I see posts about this kind of thing, they always kind of come with this idea that you can't do that by talking down to these people. You can't do it by belittling them. You can't do it by making them feel bad about it. And I get that. I do to a certain degree. I think empathy does matter. But at this point in cultural history, we're in pretty much a war against fascism, and I don't think I've got the tools to empathise enough with these people to bring them around. Especially because there's also a little bit of me which feels like the argument of the best way to stop fascists marching in the street demanding things is just to give them what they want ahead of time to stop having trouble, and that is just a terrible way of thinking about things. So I'm here to basically, in no uncertain terms, point out how wrong people are, and I have no problem with the fact that I'm going to get shit for this one. I usually just come here and talk about comic books for 5 minutes, and I have quite a lot of fun doing it, but this one genuinely matters to me, and I just need to get it off my chest. So, here we go. Number one, Batman would absolutely do this. Now, a lot of people seem to be misunderstanding that this is absolute Batman, not real world Batman, and trying to make a difference. It's like, oh, well, it's just a different fictional character that agrees with you, as if that's some big way to win an argument. But since we're going to go down that route, let's go from core beliefs here. Batman understands police corruption and is against it. He understands racism and he's against it. Yes, he is a child of inherited wealth with an awful lot of power and privilege that goes along with that one, but from every Batman comic book era that I've engaged with, it has been a part of it that police corruption is bad. And there's been moments where people have tried to do propaganda of having good cops trying to change the system from within, but the better writers who understand these things and how they play out in the real world go along with this idea that that is an attempt worth trying, but is kind of bound to fail. In the current DC continuity, there's literally a supervillain in charge of the Gotham City Police Department. There's a whole bunch of people who have gone in there with good intentions who have had it absolutely beaten out of them and left. GCPD Blue Line is well worth a look. Anything involving the Question is well worth a look. These people have seen what it's like to work in the police force, and the people are like, yes, but that is fictional. There's a point I was going to make later on. I'm going to drop it in right now, but I might reference it back later. Every single study in my country that has been done into racism in the police force has proven time and time again that police forces up and down the country are institutionally racist. The idea that somebody writing a fictional police force wouldn't be aware of that kind of thing and wouldn't make it part of the world, I mean, that's just naive. Where we are in the world right now, look into the history of policing. It's probably going to involve slave patrols, it's probably going to involve union busting, it's almost certainly going to involve private forces basically hired by aristocracy and the ruling classes to maintain the status quo with them on top. That's just how policing works. It's what it is. The idea that Batman wouldn't want to do something about that is ridiculous. Mainstream DC Universe, though, he understands that just going out against people in uniform, that's going to cause him problems. He is already a criminal. He's a vigilante. That means he's already on law enforcement's radar, and the best thing he can do is try and make life easier for the vast majority of police so they leave him alone. And you see this on comic pages, where, I mean, even in movies and TV shows, you'll have the rookie, his first time encountering Batman, and an old grizzled cop's like, oh no, you're in for a show, we can just sit back and watch. Because cops don't want to get involved. They're quite happy to have somebody else come in and do their job. They don't want to get hurt. These are not people who do a particularly dangerous job, even though they make it seem like that. I mean, you're more likely to get hurt being a cheerleader than you are a police officer, and I know, again, from looking into this kind of thing, I have seen reports of injuries sustained by police officers in the middle of riots and protests, where the injuries have been bee stings and getting their fingers caught in car doors. These people do not want to put themselves in danger, but they are quite happy to make it seem like it's a very dangerous job so they can justify the armour and the firepower and the tanks. Batman is obviously not going to be in favour of that, because these are the tools of the biggest problems. And in the absolute universe, when he isn't part of inherited wealth, he doesn't have that cultural privilege, he's a working class guy who grew up with people who are criminals, who are on the bottom rung of society, people he went to school with, became friends with through that, and are still friends with now, are his rogues gallery for the most part. Not all of them, but quite a few of them. He understands that, yes, actually people with a whole bunch of money are causing problems. That's why early arcs in this do have him going against people who have that much money, who are trying to sow social disharmony. It has him going against people trying to use ways to divide people and tear them apart. He's got him going against private policing even. He knows this kind of thing, and he's going to use his abilities to do the best he can. And if he turns up to a situation where a bunch of out-and-out racists, and yes, 100%, no shade to anything people are saying here, these are 100% racist. Literally, one guy gets his arm broken when pronouncing the W in white power while zig heiling. This is 100% Batman breaking the arm of a racist and beating the ever-loving snot out of a bunch of other ones. But there's some cops there. And that's how people, oh yeah, but he wouldn't go for cops. Yes, he would. He absolutely would. Again, go back and read any number of Batman comics. Even year one has Gordon beating the snot out of a corrupt cop with a baseball bat. It's not like this is unusual for Batman stories, and if you think it is, you don't know Batman. You're just trying to get some social media clout by talking about it and trying to get people angry, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe Chuck Dixon will notice you. Batman would absolutely do that, and he would get away with it in this particular situation, even if he was main universe Batman. Because if the police say Batman attacked these officers, and it's like, yes, officers, but they were wearing hoods at a Klan rally and beating up immigrants, the police will absolutely go down the hall, just one bad apple or a few bad apples thing, totally misunderstanding the rest of that saying and that metaphor. Bad apples are terrible. Bad apples destroy entire barrels and entire crops. They are designed to, well, not designed, but they do that thing, and they should be thrown out because of that. And the police are absolutely insular and will do the thin blue line and protect the ranks. But what they mean when they say that is they protect the institution and have no problem throwing a couple of people under the bus if it can be proven that they are the cause of problems, and then they can use and trot out the few bad apples thing. Batman would absolutely break arms and throw batarangs and drive his Batmobile into their hideout. He absolutely would do that. To believe otherwise is to be one of two things. You've fallen for the propaganda, and I don't really hold that against people too much. It is pervasive. It's all over the place. Comedy shows, crime shows, movies, superhero stuff, these all have propaganda in them, and I don't really think I'm going to get hugely angry with people who've just fallen for the lie, fallen for the scam. It's fine. It happens. I don't like it, but it happens. The other side of that is you are so far onto the right of the culture war or of culture or of just plain embracing the fascist in chief in the White House at the moment that you are just like, yeah, I understand that this is exactly how these institutions are, but I can make it seem like I'm on the right side of history by claiming that this is misappropriation and it's using Batman in a way that the true fans won't agree with, in which case you are just us complicit in everything, and you're never going to have me change your mind, because what you're trying to do is make out that I'm wrong straight away, and everyone who thinks that Batman would absolutely do this, which he would, is wrong, and you're never going to go the direction because you're so embedded in it that to admit you are wrong, to admit you're on the wrong side of history, that your side lost in the Civil War, your side lost in World War II, to admit that would be too much for you, so you just swallow extra lies and you carry on following people down this garden path into hatred and abuse, and every step of the way you move yourself further away from empathy and humanity and caring about other people. And the fact that you're getting this annoyed about a comic book character doing it and going on social media and getting so very, very angry about the fact that a fictional character disagrees with you just entertains me. And I honestly, entertainment is not particularly the way I should be looking at. I get that, but Lord, if I didn't, I'd just get so angry, and I don't want to be that angry all the time. So that's my thoughts on it. Other than that, it's a fantastic comic book. You absolutely should check it out. I'm sorry, I've just realised that 10 minutes I've been talking. That's all from me today. I promise tomorrow I'll come back, I'll just read Craniacs or something, just to take the weight off. So I'll see you all again. Look, catch you soon. Stay safe. Bye.